You know, let's just keep it in all honesty. Episode 1, episode 2, you know I'm gonna say it was complete trash, but I will start off with saying this. It was two things I like out of the whole 2 hours of misery of the show. One, I like the elves going to Valinor. And two, I like Gandalf using his dark room powers. What? Gandalf? What is Gandalf doing in the Second Age? Oh man, here we go again. What up, YouTube? It's your boy Fader J. Back like I left something, and I'm glad you're here. Yes, I'm glad you're here. And this is the episode 1, episode 2 review, spoilers review of, I almost said Game of Thrones. Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. And I'm not going to disrespect Game of Thrones House of Dragon because they is killing this show by light years. I'm going to break down fully why I think this is trash. And if you are a hardcore Tolkien fan, it is no way, no how. If you read the Silmarillions, the appendices, all that stuff, you are down with this show. This show here is the worst piece of crap that I've seen in a long time. And I'm telling you, I have seen crap from your Boba Fett's to your Obi-Wans. All that stuff was a big letdown. But this show here, oh man, it was a huge mess. We're going to get into it, but it is something very vital that I need you to do. From the beginning all the way to the end of this video, please watch it all the way from the start to the finish, because what that does is bring more awareness of people who have the same feelings as you, and we can shut down Amazon Studios for giving this big, gigantic piece of crap. I can't believe this show was made. I can't believe so much CGI was put into this show instead of how Peter Jackson did it, where he gave us real costumes, real backgrounds. Everything was CGI. I thought I was watching a Lifetime version. You know the Lifetime channel? I was watching a Lifetime version of Lord of the Rings. This was completely crap. We're going to break that down. But I need you to like, I need you to subscribe, and I need you to hit that notification bell. Because when you hit that notification bell, it makes your boy Fader J feel oh so good and oh so swell. Yeah, it don't make me feel swell watching this show. This is torture. And you might be asking yourself, well, Fader J, if you don't like it, if you knew you wasn't going to like it, why are you watching it? I'm watching it because I am a YouTube journalist, which means it's people out there that want to see how this show looks, and they want the real deal information, not the shills, not the people who are bought out. No, I gotta give you the real deal. I can't fake the funk. And I will be completely honest with you. If this show was good, even though they had the black doors, black elves, black hobbits, if it was good besides that, I would have still told the truth. I would have told you guys the truth, that this show was dope, even though I don't agree with the changes of the race of the dwarves and all that type of stuff. So I'm not being biased. I promise you. I'm giving you that real deal Holyfield. Trust and believe. But thank y'all so much for coming out. Let's get into the video. Now, I'm going to give you a brief synopsis before I go into the story and into the characters. I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of what's going on in the show. The characters. These characters, the main characters, the main cast of this show, these characters are freaking made up. They're made up characters. And the characters that you do have that come from the books, they don't resemble the characters in the books. It's like they're two different people. They just share the same name. And they don't even share the same likeness. Let's take Galadriel, for instance. All this hunting down Sauron because he killed your brother. That was not in the freaking story. It wasn't. When she started off young, she was on Valinor, and her brother was telling her how a ship sinks and how it floats and all that stupid stuff. That did not happen, man. When you look at the past, when you look at Galadriel, the only thing that it really said about Galadriel was these things right here. Galadriel, she was an athletic person. Never did say she was a warrior. And it also said that Galadriel during the war, not the War of the Rings, but the wars in the Second Age and the First Age, she did a lot of traveling. She did a lot of traveling throughout Middle Earth. She was on Valinor. She did some traveling. She did a lot of traveling. She was a political type of leader. She was a sage type of character. But this bullcrap right here, it just, when I was watching the show, I was just so heartbroken in the inside. I was heartbroken because so many people out there have dreamed seeing the First Age and the Second Age. And I do admit, some of the backgrounds look beautiful. No, I'm not going to even say some of the backgrounds. The two things that looked very beautiful was Valinor, when the elves was going into Valinor, and the two trees. Now, they did a remarkable job with the two trees. That's exactly how I imagined how they would look. But besides that, everything was so CGI out from the backgrounds and all that stuff. You had another character like Elrond. Elrond, that was not Elrond. Elrond has been, these characters has been looking the same throughout centuries, throughout thousands of years. They have not changed at all. They have not started off as a character that was broken and learned from their ways and rose up. No, elves are not like that. Elves are, you do have some elves that act foolish, but their nature, they're very wise. They're very wise characters, and they're pretty much set in their ways. And that's a reason why you have a big battle between the dwarves and you have a big battle against the elves, because those two race characters, they are set in their ways. They're not humans where they could learn from their mistakes and then grow out of it. And you have some exceptions with some dwarves like Gimli, who start to learn that elves are good characters, are good people, and they're not their mortal enemy. But these characters look so horrible. The costumes, the backgrounds, everything just looked so artificial. It didn't have that Peter Jackson look. And I apologize to Peter Jackson, because Peter Jackson, I just want to say this. The Hobbit compared to episode 1 and 2, it looks legendary compared to this show. Freaking legendary. And they have a character in there, the Stranger. You can pretty much tell that the Stranger is Gandalf the Grey. That's why his name, if you're looking at IMDb, is the Stranger. They want to act like we don't know that this Gandalf, but the character have Gandalf traits. Everything goes dark when he gets mad. That's what Gandalf did when he wanted the ring from Bilbo. He controls fire. Just like Gandalf the Grey, he tossed the animals and bugs just like Gandalf the Grey. It's Gandalf the Grey. What the freak is Gandalf the Grey doing in the Second Age? He showed up thousands of years later. He showed up in the Third Age. Between the Second Age and the Third Age is thousands of years apart. This show is broken. It's horrible. The story is pretty much centered around Sauron coming back, and all these things are happening in the background. It shows that Sauron is back, but the main character that they made in this show is Galadriel, which is foolish, which is horrible. Why is she the main character? When it comes to the Second Age, you had a range of people who shared the spotlight, but it was mostly different types of elves out there. You had some human heroes, and you had some dwarves that they focused on too, but like stuff like the Silmarillions, that was mostly an elven story, the children of Eru, but it's basically centered around Sauron, and they mentioned Morgoth. Kudos to them for mentioning Morgoth, because I didn't think they was going to go that far. Speaking on Morgoth like that, who was the first Dark Lord instead of Sauron. But I was very much disappointed in this show. It was just so artificial. It was just so sad what they did, and I'm not looking forward doing reviews for episode 3 and episode 4 and episode 5, and they talking about doing this all the way to season 8. This is supposed to go on that long, and they tried to come out with articles speaking about, oh, this is way better than House of Dragon. No, the freak is not. House of Dragon is killing you, and the thing about House of Dragon, it's not even that much action in there, and they're killing it. They have stupid looking wargs in there. They have snow trolls. The freak is a snow troll. Freakers. What the freak is that? Then you have these made up characters that no one heard of before. You have this little boy. He sounds like a grown man. He walking around with this evil sword. Is that supposed to be the Nazgul? Is that supposed to be one of the characters? And if that is one of the characters, it's supposed to be a king. Not a little boy. What the freak is going on Amazon? You freaking messed up this show. You messed it up. This is terrible. This is the most terrible thing I've seen in a long time. I didn't even see any reminiscences of anything that was Tolkien or Peter Jackson. It didn't even have that Tolkien feel to it. The story was whack. The characters was whack. The acting was whack. This show, watching episode 1 and 2, literally was putting me to sleep. Nothing stood out. Nothing woke me up. And that should never happen when it comes to a piece of Tolkien adaptation at all. It's horrible. It's whack. It makes me mad. But most of all, it makes me sad. It's heartbroken to see Hollywood come in, hijack these type of stories that people have changed their lives. And you might be asking, Fatal J, how does Tolkien work change your lives? Look at the life of Aragorn. Aragorn was the perfect man. He showed you what to do in many situations. He was patient. He was honorable. He was long-suffering. He was a character that looked out for others instead of looking out for himself. He had the right. He was the king of all of Gondor. And instead, he put himself in front of others. He lived a low life as a ranger. That's how human beings should be. But this show here, their only concern is to have the women look better than the men and make them look super awesome, even though at the same time that did not happen in the books. Now, you do have women in Tolkien's books that was warriors, of course, but Galadriel was not. I'm hot, man. I'm pissed off. That's what it is. This show sucks. It was trash. I'll let you guys know how episode 3 go, but I can't hold it back. This show was complete garbage. Yes, it was complete trash, and no, I'm not joking. Get back at your boy Theta J. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit that notification bell, because when you hit that notification bell, it makes your boy Theta J feel oh so good and oh so swell. And I'm out of here. Ninja vanish.
I love you so.